Okay. A week ago, I posted this little image. Oh, let's go back. I posted this little image here. Definitely Sandy's not gonna carry. I'm never gonna do that. Erica wants another baby. She's crazy. She probably would want another baby right now. Get rid of leftover embryos. So, majority of people answered that. I said I was gonna talk about the whole embryo, harvesting embryos, what you're gonna do with your embryos, embryo donation, embryo adoption, donating your embryos to science. So you wanna do IVF. You go in, you talk to your doctors. I have a whole nother YouTube video in regards to like how to find the doctor, how to do fertility, what Erica and I did. Both of our eggs, same sperm donor, both embryos implanted into Erica. You cannot get rid of these embryos without both parents. If you do want to do embryo donation or get rid of the embryos, both parents have to sign off. That's what we did the other day, and then we had to sign off on them. I had a friend like reach out to me and she's like, oh, did you take your embryos home? And now I kind of wish I would have, because then I would know that they were flushed. I'm not like sentimental about it, and I know a lot of people who are going through IVF or fertility, this could be totally triggering for them, so like please disregard my lack of emotion around the embryos. We had 5 left, they were never gonna get used. Donating the embryos was not an option for us. Also, your embryos have to meet like the super special criteria, which ours did not. Let me tell you why. Erica's eggs or embryos were harvested at the age of 35, already to pass the goodbye date, according to fertility standards. You're considered, what do they consider you? I just called Erica. So it's considered your advanced maternal age the second you turn 35. Your embryos are considered advanced maternal age. So Erica harvested at age 35. My embryos were harvested at age 31. And my eggs all sucked. I got 9 eggs. Those I ended up with after they inseminate them and then they let them gestate for 5 days. So essentially when you go through IVF and you implant one of your embryos 5 days pregnant technically, so or 5 days old. So I got 1 embryo. That embryo is Elliot. He's my only egg, my only embryo, and I like to go into this because the point of going through IVF is because you either have to, you're gay and you want to, or you're single and you want to, or you're having fertility problems and you have to. You really want your genetics mixed in there or something, but and this isn't being like judgmental or anything. I have said this to somebody before and it like helped them click with their partner, because the point in having a child is to be a parent, not to have your genetics. I always tell Erica that like I kind of regret not being able to adopt, but at the time, even still, we don't meet the criteria to adopt. So like we had to go through IVF. We did try intrauterine insemination first, which is IUI, which is cheaper, but the odds are very low. If you don't have to put yourself through all of this and you have the means to adopt or foster, I mean, I would have loved. There's lots of criteria. I have a really good friend. She had 3 kids that are all from fostering, and it's just like the most amazing gift to give to a child is to give them a safe space, and they come from God knows what, and it's like she is an amazing woman, and her adoption story just kind of like changed my whole perspective on it, and I always wanted to do that. Like I loved it and I always wanted to, but you have to have an extra bedroom. There's like checks and all this stuff, which like we just didn't meet the criteria. That's my little tangent on like fertility, because going through this process is fucking hard. You're pumping your body's full of meds. You're pumping hormones into yourself, which are like, yeah, natural, but like you're going through so much shit that you don't have to go through if you don't want to go through it. Obviously, yes, people want to do it. Like I had acquaintance that I knew who was like going through it and trying so hard, wanted her eggs. Her eggs weren't working. Her embryos weren't implanting. And her partner had eggs and embryos too, but she just wanted hers. And like I said that to her, like getting pregnant, like, and she was the one carrying, and getting a baby it's not about your genetics. It's about being a parent, because in the end, it don't fucking matter. You're raising that baby. It's in your house. Like it's not gonna make a difference whose bloodline it is. I promise you. I promise you that. When you are there day in, day out, and you are raising that child, Erica carried my egg, and like it's no different. I feel just as connected to Olive and Jasper as I do to Elliot. Getting back to like donation. So you have to meet a criteria. Your eggs, your embryos have to be like super, they grade them, and there's a number, and like which number is better. So many people may not know that Erica actually had a miscarriage before Jasper. We had implanted our last girl embryo, and her number was like 5 points lower than Jasper's number on his embryo. And I was like adamant, I wanted another girl really bad. Which I know gender doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like, being a parent is what matters. It doesn't matter what you get, a boy or a girl or anything in between, because life is life. Life is change. Who knows what they're going to be when they grow up? You know what I mean? So you have to like relinquish control. And I think that's like the moral of the IVF or fertility journey. Relinquish control. You have no control. You will think that you're like some amazing uterus, which is like what I thought, because I was 31 and Erica was 35. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have so many eggs. No, dude, I like had nothing. Even though I was in the good fertility age, my eggs looked like they were 100 years old, dusted off dinosaur eggs, okay? Erica's eggs, primo, and she was 35. Primo to like the fact that they were like, wow, you have some like really young, like they just kept saying it, like, oh my God, your uterus, this and that, so amazing, like blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you just don't know. So go in there with an open mind. Don't be stressed out about it. If you're gonna commit to it, commit to it. And if it doesn't happen, it's not meant to be. And I can't tell you how many women I speak to still who are going through 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 egg harvests, or 5 and 6 and 7 IUIs, intrauterine inseminations, or 5 and 6 and 7 IVFs. If your doctor is putting you through that, you need a new doctor. That doctor is sucking you dry of your money because he knows he can, because he is working off your emotions. And I'm not saying all doctors are like that. I'm just saying that, like, our doctor said after 3 attempts of IUI and it doesn't work, he says it's time to move on. It's time to move on to IVF. After 3 attempts of IVF, it's time to move on. It's time to move on to like embryo adoption, be your surrogate, or it's just time to move on. You can't keep dumping money into the same bucket that's not working. And I really appreciated the honesty and the transparency with my doctor. And I feel that a lot of women that I've spoken to and that have reached out to me don't get that same transparency with their doctor. I believe a lot of these doctors know how to make money, and it's a business in the end. Anyways, when you do your fertility journey, they will make you sign paperwork. They will ask you at the end of your fertility journey, if you still have embryos in the freezer, what would you like to do with them? Would you like to donate them to medical science? Erica and I said no. Just because, like, what would they do with those? Also, are you going to donate these eggs to somebody else? Like, there's a fine line. Like, you can do private adoption with your embryos. However, like, you don't get money. Like, you've paid all this money to go through IVF, but these people get your embryos for free. However, I believe they have to pay the clinic, which makes no sense to me. So we chose not to do that because Erica didn't meet the criteria. I'd love to chat with anybody about fertility, and I have been working on the fertility book for a very long time. It's done, just needs to be like edited, but it has a lot of information in there on what we went through and seminars and what you need to know and questions and answers. And because I like, again, I've said since we've done this whole fertility process, so many people come out of the woodwork having questions that, like, they can't even get the right answers from their own doctors. And I have another friend who, with her and her fiance, were going through fertility, and she said that she got more information in regards to IVF from me than she could from her own nurse and doctors at the fertility clinic, which is insane to me. Like, you're paying these people a fucking arm and a leg to help you make a family, and they don't have 5 minutes to like answer questions for you. It's just like mind blowing to me. If you're still here and you watched this whole video, thanks. If you have any more questions, leave them down below in the comments. I will try to answer as many as I can. Okay.